AM 1170. The Answer. San Diego.
Gun Sports Radio is sponsored by Love Radio Network. Welcome to Gun Sports Radio, all about shooting, hunting, self-defense, and more. Now, here are the hosts of Gun Sports Radio, Dave Stahl and Lance Pelkey.
All right, folks, welcome to Gun Sports Radio. Golly, show 82.
Here we are.
Can you believe that?
Already.
Holy moly. A little bit higher. And this segment is brought to you by Gun Range San Diego. Our names are too close.
Hey.
It's your fault. Gun Range San Diego. The Nordstroms of gun ranges. All you need to do is take a run down there 7 days a week, 10 to 10. Trust me, you will love it. GunRangeSanDiego.com, GunRangeSanDiego.com for all of the specials, deals. I mean, there's so much going on down there. It would take us an hour just to tell you all the wonderful things that they'll do for you as a first-time shooter, second-time shooter, 100-time shooter. Doesn't make any difference. They'll treat you just like family. Gun Range San Diego, right there at 7853 Balboa Avenue in San Diego. 10 to 10, 7 days a week. Go to GunRangeSanDiego.com. All right, Mr. Schwartz, how are you today?
Fantastic.
Lance, how about you?
Lots going on, baby.
Are you moved in?
I moved in. And
you're sure now?
And now we got all this great news that's happening in the gun world.
Yes, we do. Mikey, the floor is yours.
We do. So, this is, of course, normally part of this show where we talk about politics or, we have politicians call in, that sort of thing. But I wanted to take this segment and talk about our statement, our press release, when regarding, the horrible tragedy that happened in Florida a couple of weeks ago. Because I think it's an important thing to cover. And it wasn't just directly about what happened in Florida. It was a little bit broader of a statement. And the statement is that, we're here 24/7, just about, 365, to have the conversation. And the conversation isn't happening. And that was the gist of the press release. And I went into how, and this isn't just a bash on media, because the media reports what other people are saying. Some of the media reports were inaccurate, and I think they could have done a better job. But if some of the media report, they don't. They're reporting what the other side is saying. They're reporting what other folks are saying. So it's not just a bash on media, but we actually went into...
But a lot of the inaccurate stuff that the other side is saying.
A lot of the inaccurate stuff that the other side is saying. Yeah, because
you could sit there and listen to a politician or somebody say something, and then the media picks it up, and it's like, what meeting were you in? Were you not at that press conference?
Inaccurate.
Right. Well, and they're interviewing people that are claim to be experts, or they have some kind of title, and they think, okay, well, this person must know what they're talking about. They can't fact check every word. So, I get it. I get the problem that they're having, which is why San Diego County gun owners, one of our big goals is to, and one of the things that we do is engage with media.
Yes.
We get out there and say, hey, sure, let's get on the air and talk about it.
Whether they want you to or not.
Whether they want us to or not. But some of the...
Because you have to push.
You have to push. We have to tell our story.
People asked me just the other day, says, what are you doing a gun show in California for? I says, well, what do you know about guns? I said, I don't know anything. Well, that's why I'm doing the show.
Hey, I can't imagine a more important place.
Yeah. I mean, we're not sitting here. You'll never hear us say, you have to go down and buy a gun. You will never hear us say that.
Right.
We'll give you all the tools to make that decision if you so choose.
Right.
But on the other hand, it's your choice, and we're not going to push our agenda on anybody because we have a unique group here. You two guys shoot way more than I shoot, but I'm just as enthusiastic and just as supportive as you guys are.
Absolutely.
So some of the statements that we called out in our press release, in our statement, CNN actually produced a piece, and a part of it was the statement, you don't need a permit. They were mad about the fact that in Florida, you don't need a permit to conceal carry a rifle or a shotgun. Now,
let me see. Conceal, where are you going to shove it? Where are you going to shove it?
And it was a story that was a list of, this is why Florida, has problems. They have such lax firearms laws. And this was a part of it. One of the problems that they cited was that you don't need a permit to conceal carry a rifle or a shotgun. I mean, it's just insane. That's an insane statement. That's crazy.
If you were a reporter working for a big organization, wouldn't you feel a little stupid making that kind of a statement?
I couldn't. And this is CNN. This isn't
Okay, so it's a little station. I mean, it's a little outlet.
Yeah. Obviously, there's no real way. It's not practical.
There's no venting.
There's
vetting. Aren't those top people at CNN supposed to look at all the stories before they come out?
Well, that's what we think. As as consumers, when we pick these news media outlets, we think that, hey, we're listening to them because there's some level of vetting.
Well, on Channel 10, I did watch the interviews on Channel 10 that you had the two ladies on, and I thought the interviews were terrific.
Good.
And well represented, except the other guy was more like an expert person, and on our side, we just had a regular person, and they did a great job, the two ladies.
All three. There was actually three. So that was another thing I wanted to get to is it was San Diego County Gun Owners. We've made ourselves available. So 3 times over about the last week and a half, we've had Channel 10 call up and say, hey, this is what we're looking for. We want an AR owner. And I said, great. Wendy would be happy to go and talk to you. She's an expert. She's an instructor. She's very knowledgeable. She's very well spoken.
Yeah.
So we sent her down and boom, she showed, this is my AR and here's why I own it and that sort of thing. And we made it so easy for them. They called back and said, okay, we're looking for somebody who is an AR owner who bought their AR and they're younger than 21.
Right. It only took them 5 minutes, and they didn't have to sign any paperwork.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. That's what they were trying to find.
That's what they're hoping for.
That's
right?
what they're hoping for.
So we sent them a young lady. Her name's Krista. She's been working with guns for over a decade, even though she's 20 years old. Yeah. She went through. She's a vet, Army. I believe it's Army National Guard. I hope I didn't get that wrong. Serves in the uniform and did a fantastic job.
She did a great job.
Talked about responsibility. They got pictures of her, cleaning her AR and talking about how she uses it in competition. And then the other side, the Brady organization had some guy explaining to her why, look, little girl, this is why you're too irresponsible. I mean, this is not what he said, but it was,
he was implying.
It was very disrespectful. It was kind of she clearly doesn't know, she doesn't know what she's talking about. She's not responsible enough to shoot this thing.
Right.
And he has absolutely no experience.
And somehow they're inferring that people under 21 years old are these big mass murderer people, which is so incorrect. And by the way, that thing down in Florida, as terrible as it was, and it truly was, so the Broward County sheriffs, a few of them didn't go in and waited for the Coral Springs sheriffs to come. And even when the Coral Springs sheriffs came, the Broward County sheriffs still didn't go in. So you got a guy that used a gun illegally. You got sheriffs that didn't act in all this. And now they're picking on people that are under 21 having an AR. How stupid can you get?
Who else are they going to blame? They're not going to blame themselves.
Wow. Oh,
and the sheriff from Broward County, I was listening to it coming in, and he was livid. There's only one. There was not 2 or 3.
But still, that's one
is too many.
Are you kidding me?
I got to tell you, they contacted, the FBI was contacted, the Broward County Sheriff was contacted about this guy.
Yes.
Well before this happened. And then to see him, I don't know if you watched the town hall debate where Dana Lash from the NRA came and they basically just beat up on her for an hour.
I watched some of it and I turned it off.
For him to stand up, for the sheriff to stand up there, and this was before all the reports came out that his men didn't do anything.
Right.
For him to stand up there and blame the Second Amendment for this, blame the NRA,
totally ridiculous.
Was a tragedy. I mean, it's absolutely horrible.
And then who's the sheriff next door to him or something that that's
the next county.
You know what I'm talking about?
I don't remember his name. But
really, really good guy. And he's the guy that says, look, citizens, we need you to be armed. We need you to be trained. And even those people in California, when they had that terrible thing that happened in San Bernardino, demonstrated how many people could die within 4 or 5 minutes. And you need to be ready because, this stuff isn't going to stop.
Yeah.
I mean, just some really sharp people out there.
You did. And just to circle back, Channel 10 called a third time and said, hey, now we want somebody who's a teacher who would carry if they were legally allowed, on the job.
Yeah.
And we supplied him with a fantastic lady. who is a teacher. She has a CCW for other reasons.
Yeah, well spoken.
And said, hey, I would carry if we're allowed to. And she actually showed how proficient she was in the story. And and on the other side, they interviewed the president of the teachers union, and he unbelievably disrespectful towards her, towards teachers, it was just, it's unbelievable. I've not seen this level of disrespect towards teachers and towards women. I've never witnessed such a broad display of disrespect towards teachers.
Where can people find these interviews?
So go to SanDiegoCountyGunOwners.com. We have them posted under.
They're great, man. They're like 4 or 5 minutes or whatever the case may be, and they're wonderful.
All right. Well, let's take a quick break, and if you don't mind, since John, by the way, congratulations to John Dillon.
That's huge, huh?
Has a bouncing baby, Ethan. And it looks like everybody's doing fine. The baby's just like his dad, sucking his thumb.
Yeah.
So, they both have a habit, but that's okay.
Very exciting.
So,
congratulations.
we're just so happy for him and his family. Just wonderful. All right, so he's not going to call in. So let's extend this, if you don't mind, because you went through a lot of work to do this press release, and I think it's important that we continue on.
Let's have the conversation.
All right, folks, we're going to take a small break. You're listening to Gun Sports Radio with Dave Stahl, Lance Belkey, and Michael Schwartz right here on AM 1170. The Answer. All right, folks, hey, welcome back. You're listening to Gun Sports Radio right here on AM 1170. The Answer. Michael Schwartz is with us, and we want to thank Trident Gunsmithing for all their support. www.tridentgunsmithing.com for all your gunsmithing needs. You're into hunting classes. Trust me, it's all right there. Trident Gunsmithing, one-stop shop, expert craftsmanship. Check out their website, tridentgunsmithing.com, tridentgunsmithing.com. Normally John Dillon would be calling in, but Gatsky Dillon and Balance, LLP. Go to cafirearmslaw.com. You can send questions to John, and he'd be more than happy to answer any gun-related question for you. But since he's not doing nothing. He's just sitting at home watching his wife do all the work, changing the diaper, feeding the baby. He's probably watching NASCAR, but that's okay. Oh, by the way, he's getting a Tesla.
Is he really?
I have to tell everybody he's getting a Tesla. Oh yeah, he's crazy. Anyway, so San Diego County gun owners did a press release, and it's really about a conversation.
It's about a conversation, and the point that the press release makes, and I think it's the point that we really have to hammer home, because it's just not helping. I mean, there are problems in this country. There's no easy solution like ban guns, which is what everybody's fallen back on. Some of the other statements that we pointed out was gun control advocates point to Obama-era gun check regulations that was repealed last year, basically giving those who are mentally disturbed the ability to buy a gun. Totally untrue. These weapons are meant for use on the battlefield, referring to AR-15s. And then one quote, this is one of my favorites. Of course, with those weapons at your home, he was referring to handguns and shotguns. So he's basically saying, well, you don't need an AR for home defense. You can just have a handgun or a shotgun, and then goes on to say, of course, with those weapons at home, you might also shoot a family member or yourself. What kind of unbiased reporting? What kind of ridiculous statement?
You almost want to ask him, did you shoot your brother when you were a kid? I mean, is this where you're getting your basis for your information?
Just ludicrous. And, the point, excuse me, we're making in this press release is that, the examples shown, gun owners can't have a conversation because these elected officials that they quote, and the reporters and the protesters are grossly uninformed or misinformed. Maybe or the worst case scenario is that they're purposely trying to spread bad information.
What about 17 school shootings?
Yes,
45 days.
In 45 days. Just, totally. It's not even, this isn't even about interpretation. It's completely and totally false information. Yeah. So what happens is, all right, let's sit down and talk about some, ways to make sure that criminals and the mentally insane don't have access to firearms. Okay, let's sit down and have that conversation. But the problem is the only time they want to have the conversation is after some kind of charged up, emotional, horrible tragedy. And the only conversation they want to have is, includes that, hey, the NRA are a bunch of murderers and we want to ban guns.
Well, it's just a lynch mob. It's like a Western lynch mob.
Yeah.
When something happens, let's go lynch somebody.
And then it'll all be better.
That's it. Then it'll be better.
Who was
somehow.
that one school guy that when Trump had his open house, and he said, well, in our schools, we have the same thing you see at TSA. We have metal detectors. We look at everybody's bags that come in, and if we see a student that's not maybe functioning properly, we take him aside and we work with him.
Well,
so if we're going to save people that fly in an airplane, why wouldn't we save our kids?
Well, and they, one of these, in one way, so about a month ago, the San Diego City Council, in a subcommittee, wanted to pass a proclamation against passing H.R. 38 at the congressional level.
And what's H.R. 38?
H.R. 38 does two things. It makes a CCW work like a driver's license, so it's good in all 50 states. So if you have like you have a driver's license in California, you can drive in all 49 other states, right? If you have a CCW from whatever state, then it's good in all 50 states. That's the first part. But the second part is only about 70% of dangerous felons and prohibited people that are prohibited from buying a gun, get reported to the background check system. Right. Now, if you ask any gun owner, if you ask any citizen, if you say, hey, do felons get reported to the instant background check? They'd say, yeah, of course they do. Really, it's not required by law.
Mm-hmm. Which it should be. And everybody agrees on that. So but nobody wants to do it.
So they are actually voting against it. So they can't even, they're so biased. They can't stand the fact that somebody would want to protect themselves outside of the home, that they're trying to make this, HR 38 fail. And it was, people like Barbara Bree, David Alvarez, Chris Ward on the San Diego City Council, who won't even support a law that will report felons to the instant background check system, so they can't get a gun. And this is the kind of partisan nonsense that is preventing real public safety from happening.
And by the way, I for Gun Sports Radio, you guys saw that Springfield Armory sent out a thing talk about, obviously they're horrified by what's happening, but they're also horrified by the lynch mob that's coming, for all the good guys. And they said, write your local, your local person. So mine is Chris Ward all the way up to Dianne Feinstein and the rest of them. So I did.
Good.
And we all should.
Did you sign it?
Local level.
Gun Sports Radio?
I signed it, Lance Pelkey.
You could have done Gun Sports Radio.
I gotcha. Well, come
on. Make them nervous.
No, so anyway, we should be contacting our people now. Right. All of us should.
Can I go to your website and there's a link to and find out who my person is?
We don't have that, but it's real easy to find on Google. It's real easy.
Go to our Facebook, and I put it there. There's a link.
Okay.
Yeah. But the reason they're voting against this, so they're voting against the idea of reporting people, and but the reason is the only ones they're hearing from is the Brady organization, Moms Demand, demand action or whatever, their anti-gun thing.
Blue people,
and they're letting them in the door. They're not inviting any other groups in to sit down and talk. This isn't what I'm saying is this isn't a serious effort for public safety. All this is an anti-gun bias and a partisan, hyper-partisan effort to get reelected and advance an agenda that has nothing to do with public safety.
And these murders will never stop.
Murders will never stop. Yeah.
I mean, do they stop in prisons?
No.
They don't have guns?
No. No,
they got cell phones and knives.
I mean, I was at a school today up in Alpine doing an event, and first thing I looked at it was from a protection point of view. It's too wide open. I mean, you almost have to change the atmosphere of a school nowadays.
Well, there's clearly a problem. There are kids that are falling through the cracks of society. They're growing up angry. They don't have fathers. There's clearly a problem. But taking away, putting a Band-Aid on it's not going to help. I mean, there's got to be some kind of address of a solution. And one of the groups we like and support is it's called boystomen.org, and it's a mentor group They go into a group and say, okay, or a school and say, hey, show us the boys that are causing the most amount of problems. It's usually the same 5 kids that are, in detention. And they say, all right, great. We're going to take you under our wing. We're going to talk to you about accountability. We're going to, give you, rites of passage for you to grow into manhood and make sure that you don't fall between the cracks. Make sure that you grow up to be a successful adult.
Well, there's so many single parents nowadays, and there's so many boys with no father figure, and I'm not using that as an excuse. It's kind of a fact.
Yeah, so, 85% of the boys they mentor, 85% have no father.
Well, we had Rachel's Challenge on, remember?
Yeah.
And that's the same thing, more broad-based.
Right.
And so there are great organizations out there that really tap into the problem instead of the lynch mob mentality.
And supporting those organizations don't require another law. They don't require raising taxes.
They don't follow the law anyway. That's the whole point about that whole shooter down there in the first place, this last one. And then, the FBI doesn't follow the law. The Broward County people don't follow the law after the whole deal.
But they're okay with it. They're not, they're just saying they're sad, but they're not doing anything about it.
Yeah, one of the quotes, it's I don't want to criticize they had a couple of kids they put front and center. I will criticize these press conferences that absolutely
CNN tried to script this one kid's message.
Yeah, when you take advantage of kids that way and put them front and center
after what they've gone through,
I think it's absolutely horrendous. But I'm not going to criticize the kids except to say that one of them, I won't mention names, but said, "Hey, look, everybody's criticizing us for ostracizing the murder, the shooter. Everybody's criticizing us for ostracizing this kid, and you didn't know him. Like, it's okay to ostracize him, and it was just absolutely bizarre. And I read an article. He the last time he was confronted by law enforcement, he'd gotten into a fist fight, and law enforcement found him. The fight had kind of broken up, and they found him to question him, and he said that he was mad because he lost the last picture he had of his mom who had died. Mm-hmm. That's tragic. That's sad. I mean, clearly this kid was tortured.
I think it was his stepmom to boot. He doesn't even have a real mom and dad.
Right. So, this kid, like I said, there is a solution.
And they should have caught this. I mean, it's not like they didn't have enough. I mean, but let's face it. We got to be careful. If I say something bad about you, you'll get a lawyer. Next thing you know, we're in all this. We're so afraid to say anything, and we got to step up. We got to step up. Like I said, if you see something, say something. I know we hear that 100 times, but when you give that information to the FBI and the city, and they don't do anything with it, there's a problem.
There's a huge problem.
Yeah.
There's a huge problem.
And getting rid of Ray is not going to fix the problem. Throwing away the head of the FBI is not going to be the problem. You got to get into the FBI and fix the FBI.
I think it has to be fixed.
Yeah.
But most important is, groups like San Diego County gun owners and Orange County gun owners.
We have to be involved.
CRPA and Firearms Policy Coalition. We're here. We want to have the conversation.
Right.
But you can't do it. You can't have a conversation with a lynch mob.
No.
You can't have a conversation with someone that's yelling at you because you support groups with blood on their hands.
Right.
Like, all right, it's asinine. It's ridiculous.
It is. Totally.
It's got to stop.
Right.
But
I think the only thing in our favor is there are more gun owners in the United States than non-gun owners.
I think you're probably right. I as far as voters,
right?
If you break it down as voters,
and I truly believe, and all you have to do is look at all of the tragedies we've had across the United States. You cannot tell me that in every one of those tragedies there wasn't somebody there with a concealed carry permit and did not go stupid.
Well,
we've never had anybody go rogue,
right?
That's been licensed, trained, and
vetted, background check.
Never heard any of that.
Yeah,
even that former
it doesn't happen.
CNN anchor lady. Remember her?
Lynn Russell.
Lynn Russell in that motel deal with her husband, and they had a concealed carry, and that saved their lives.
Yeah, well, see, that's what I'm talking about. People just don't get it. You got to quit being knee-jerk reaction. You got to look at the facts and think: do you want your kids to be around next Thursday or not? Just that simple. Hey, let's take a quick break. When we come back, a whole lot more right here on Gun Sports Radio, AM 1170. Answer. Hey, welcome back. You're listening to Gun Sports Radio right here on AM 1170, The Answer. This segment's brought to you by Gun Range San Diego, 7853 Balboa Avenue in San Diego. Go to gunrangesandiego.com, gunrangesandiego.com. And let me tell you what, folks, we've got to join up. We got to work as a team for your family, my family, and everybody else's family, because without us getting together as a unit, it's going to be a tough haul. So Joe's not in today, so we don't have anybody calling in.
We got Jason calling. He didn't call in yet?
Jason hasn't called in.
Oh, Jason, baby.
Well, but that's okay. We can talk a little bit more on this topic.
Yeah.
And again, there's no, I mean, I can't get over the false information, that is being sent out there.
Yeah, and it's not.
Yeah, it's not even edgy. It's blatant,
and it's on purpose. It's not. It's not people going, all right, well, let's get to the bottom of this, of a story, and then maybe they get a couple of things wrong or incorrect or whatever. This is purposeful, misleading, inaccurate information.
And this is children we're talking about. We're talking about children here.
Yeah, well, it goes on all the time. I've been watching it this year, particularly, even before what happened, last week in Florida. They were again going against HR 38, which is horrible, and then of course the Assembly, Todd Gloria, they're trying to attack CCW holders up in Sacramento. Mm-hmm. And it was just a flood of bad information. Yeah. I went to the press conference when they were saying that they were going to announce that they're running a bill, and it's probably going to pass, up in Sacramento, that requires 8 hours of training and that includes live fire for CCW holders. Now, that's not currently spelled out, but it happens in every single issuing municipality out there. Every single sheriff. You cannot get a CCW in California without going through 8 hours of training that includes live fire. So as I'm talking to, I showed up early at this press conference, went down the line and talked to all the camera, the anchors and the cameramen and everything, and told them what was going on. And they all said, well, that seems, you don't support training? No, you don't understand. Already required. It's already happening in California. This is just a dog and pony show to make gun owners look dangerous. That's all this is. And, to watch these reporters, at first they didn't get it. Well, wait. So if you have if you go get your CCW in San Diego, you don't have to get any training. You don't have to go through. Yes, absolutely you do. And then they'd kind of get it like, well, God, this is a waste of my time. This is, eyes are rolling and, it just didn't make any sense.
Yeah. Well,
but the purpose of this, of what you see out there when the media is giving this information and they're interviewing the other side, and the other side's giving this false information, the purpose is to paint gun owners as incompetent, as dangerous. It's all a calculated effort. Now, I'll give an example. Right after what happened in Florida, right after that horrible tragedy in Florida, immediately the city attorney for San Diego started talking about the gun restraining orders. You saw that in the paper.
Yeah, I saw it.
Immediately, the person from Moms Demand Action was talking about the gun restraining orders. Immediately across the nation, it's a coordinated effort for one goal. So they decided, here's what we're going to do. We're going to make sure all 50 states have these gun restraining orders. So immediately jump on that message, and every single one of them was delivering the same message. The city attorney from San Diego down to the volunteers for, Moms Against Guns, all the way up to the national spokesperson for the Brady organization, delivering the exact same message. And it's, frankly, the level of organization is impressive. That they're able to say, identify quickly, okay, this is our next goal. This is the next thing we want to require. This is the next, little piece that we want to take from everybody. And boom, they all run out. They get their marching orders, all run out and start saying the same things.
Yep.
And gun owners, we got in. That's one of the things San Diego County gun owners is trying to do is, get us organized so that we can, hit a button and get our message out that organized and that efficiently.
Yeah.
Well, if we don't have gun owners, what do we have? Police response, 5 to 10 minutes. What do we got?
If we're lucky.
If we're lucky.
Yeah, they're so underfunded.
So, I mean, how could you argue against that?
Right, and you look at the crime statistics again, that the violent crimes are way up, even though they like to say that crime overall is down, and violent crime is up.
I know.
So until it's kind of like one of those deals. Until it happens to you,
then all of a sudden it's a different story.
Your house gets robbed, then you put in the alarm, type of deal. So
it boggles the mind that they can argue, because the thing, another false narrative, President Trump wants to. If you're a teacher,
yeah,
and you want to conceal carry, and you've been trained, and you're ex-military, you're ex-police, then you should have that option to do it.
And they did it with airline pilots, right?
Well, yeah, and he's talking about paying the teacher another $20,000 a year. But that's a bonus right there. The poor teachers don't make any money. They did it with airline pilots
when they had the whole deal, and someone could decide if they want to carry.
Nobody said anything about it. They passed it. It's in. It's done. If the media would get out of it and allow these students, teachers, coaches, what have you, and just staff the schools. That one I talked about, the one where those guys were, where that one teacher said he's got the TSA metal detectors and all that. No one knew it. No one said anything about it. There was no media, but he just did it. And I think he shocked half the people in the conference when he said, why wouldn't you do
And
this?
they're better for it. And they use the emotional twist of, they're going to force teachers to, oh my goodness, this turned into a war zone. No, nobody said that. That's not what anybody's talking about.
Then they say, what if we have a teacher that just freaks out and goes sideways? Well, what if we have an earthquake? The earth opens up. We all fall in the middle. We're done. Hello.
So Friday I was on KUSI, and they did a fantastic job of interviewing me, and I was very appreciative of the coverage that they give.
Who, Carlos?
No, I forget the lady's name.
The new girl, Ginger.
I forget her name.
Yeah.
But she asked me, she said, well, gee, if teachers are armed and there's some kind of school shooting, aren't you afraid that a teacher isn't, qualified enough or, might hit the kid? And my response to her was, if a teacher has to pull a gun from concealment to protect herself and her students, the worst case scenario is already there.
Yeah, right, exactly.
You're worried about making it worse? I mean, the worst case scenario is somebody is in there and they're doing horrible things.
But they're trying to find a negative. They're trying to find a way to make it look bad.
Yeah. So
they're trying to get us all killed.
Well, they're trying to do that too. That in itself is another thing. But and it's so funny too, because I was listening to one of the news medias, and this guy kept bringing up all of these situations where somebody that had a CCW, thwarted the problem, ended the problem, never let it happen. But the media won't talk about that.
Yeah.
When something positive happens when somebody does carry.
Well, speaking of training in Gun Range San Diego.
Yes.
So, our listeners should be going down there.
Absolutely.
And, and getting more training. We got Manny down there that does training. They're doing the CCW classes for training.
If you have not applied for your CCW in San Diego yet, you have to apply and go down to Gun Range San Diego and take the class and get a concealed, pistol and holster and everything. Get all set up. It has to happen now. I mean, we have a rare opportunity.
Did you already apply? Did you do your application yet?
I haven't done mine yet, but it's for a different reason. I'm going to do it right after.
All right, you want me to loan you $1? I'll loan you $1. It's okay.
But I'll tell you this: my wife has hers.
I know.
My wife has hers.
Your house looks wonderful.
Yeah.
So once you save up, you get to get one.
But
have you gotten yours yet, there, Hollywood?
I got my application sitting on the desk. I'm filling it out as we speak.
And if you have any questions or concerns on how to fill it out properly, where could you go?
I can go to San Diego County Gun Owners.
You can, but where are you going to take your class?
Well, Gun Range San Diego.
Exactly.
Naturally.
That's what I'm talking about.
Absolutely.
These guys,
Manny's my man.
They got their new classroom set up.
Yeah.
And they're teaching classes.
And a holster. I'll get a holster from and the whole deal once I pick the 3 guns.
Yeah, what are you thinking?
Well,
you're going to have to buy another 3 guns from them?
No, of course you have to have that TRP operators. One of
of course you do.
Pig is hard to conceal.
Well, I was going to say, where are you going to conceal that thing?
You have to have a cannon, also. But I got that Glock 43, which is
nice.
Hard to get.
You probably got more than one.
So, and maybe a Glock 17 or something else like that.
Well, I know they're selling shields down there. A shield is a perfect
concealed carry.
My buddy Mark Spector shoots a shield. The guy's probably 6'7" and has the hands of like the back, huge
like a
hands,
gorilla.
And he's shooting a shield during the Sheila Ham charity thing that's coming up, here next.
Front Sight?
Yeah, Front Sight. I shot with him last year, and so the shield's an amazing weapon.
Mark uses a shield.
He was using the shield the whole time with those huge gorilla
big
hands.
Paws, those big paws.
Good for him. He's listening too, by the way. He's probably laughing.
Hands like a bunch of bananas.
Oh,
yeah, right.
Good for him. You going to shoot the shield again this year, Mark? By the way, Lance Reeder's going to be on here in a few minutes and talking about, because we're coming down to the deadline here and how many people we have and that kind of stuff.
By the way, we want to welcome Alpine VFW up off Tavern Road. I decided to go rolling in there, since
great.
And oh my God, they heard, I was telling them about the show and they're all excited. So
excellent.
They're all sitting up there overlooking Alpine, looking to the ocean.
Drinking a Diet Coke,
just waiting. Yeah. The Navy sits over here and the Army sits over there and the Marines sit over here.
No,
and the Air
really?
Force. Oh no, it's
all under one roof. That's
great
good.
group of guys. Great group of guys. So, hey, I'm honored to be part of them, and we're going to help put a few of them on the map. Might be able to get some great stories out of that place.
Well, we can get them rolling down to the gun range San Diego, Balboa.
They'll probably make some people look silly because those guys all know how to shoot. Let me tell you.
I'll bet they do.
Oh yeah,
it's the VFW.
Yeah, VFW.
The VFW and Alpine. I'll bet you got a lot of good shooters up there.
They're super neat guys. Super neat guys. All right. Well, let's go ahead and take a small break. When we come back, we got Lance Reeder on the line.
Yep.
And we're going to talk about Front Sight.
It's coming up, man.
Great. Yeah. Hope it's not as chilly as it was this morning up in Alpine. Oh, dude, I thought about you.
It's going to be.
That wind went right through you. Let me tell you. Okay, right here on AM 1170, The Answer. This is Gun Sports Radio. All right, folks. Hey, welcome back. You're listening to Gun Sports Radio. I'm Dave. He's Lance. This segment is brought to you by the good folks at Trident Gunsmithing. Nobody takes better care of you than Trident. You need to get your guns worked on, modified, clean. You name it, they do it. You into hunting? They have hunting classes as well. That's right. You can go hunting. They'll even teach you how to cook your own food once you hunt it, clean it, kill it, do all that jazz. Hey, right now, Jason is on the line. He sort of missed his window at 4:15, but he's busy at Gun Range San Diego. So we're going to give you a couple of moments, Jason. What's going on down at the range?
Well, we are absolutely slammed, Dave. You're absolutely slammed. It's a wonder the store doesn't tip over.
Excellent.
It's amazingly busy in here.
Excellent.
Well, the only reason it's not tipping over is because you've got all those 1,000 rounds of 9mm for $200, and that's ballast.
Right, that's exactly what that's for, and that stuff is actually still on sale. That 9mm 1,000 round brass case is still $189. Wow. Other calibers are on sale too. You need only ask an employee. We also have a special deal going on with Daniel Defense Rifles, really high end ARs. They're definitely the Mercedes of the AR-15 world. They are $350 off, and today only there's an extra special deal where we will give you 4 free magazines if you buy one today.
And I'd go down there now because the gun grabbers are trying to keep you away from them. Go down and get one as soon as you can.
And what was that weapon again?
That was a Daniel Defense rifle. Any of our Daniel Defense brand AR-15s. They're all $350 off.
Well made.
With the additional sale of 4 mags today.
Gotcha. What else you got, man?
Oh, man. Did I already mention we were slammed?
You're slammed. We're slammed today, but tomorrow, tomorrow's another day. And Monday, Tuesday, you got specials going on for people who come in?
We do. That's right. Monday, free rental Monday. All the $10 basic rentals are free. Anything above that is $10 off. Tuesday, $5 to shoot after 5 o'clock, customer appreciation night.
All right, man. Well, we know you're busy. We're going to let you get back at it. So thanks for the ammo deal and the Daniel Defense. That's huge. That's at Gun Range San Diego right there on Balboa.
Oh, yeah.
Have a good evening, my friend.
Come on by.
All right.
Thank you.
Talk to you soon.
One,
thanks again, Jason.
Bye-bye.
All right, buddy. Thank you. All right. Now we've got Lance Reeder on the line. He's going to talk to you about an event. If you didn't make this year, you got to make it next year.
Lance, my brother.
Hey, thanks for having me on the show, guys.
Hey, it's our pleasure. So how are we looking? When's the deadline for this deal, and what's happening?
The fifth annual leukemia charity handgun/rifle course is coming up in 4 weeks, and people have 6 days left to get enrolled.
Okay.
And they can get all the information on how to sign up, costs, where, when, how, why we do it at www.charitycourse.gives. And in light of, I just want to say something. In light of the most recent shooting that we've had, if this isn't clear evidence that you're not safe anywhere, your kids aren't safe in school. You can't even sit in a small church in Texas. You can't go to a concert in Nashville or Las Vegas. Really, there's no place that's perfectly safe. People have to be trained and have an ability to protect themselves and their families. And that's what this charity event is. It's a wonderful opportunity for people to get some life-saving firearms training from some of the best instructors in the world at one of the best facilities in the world. And all the proceeds go to fight leukemia and lymphoma. And we only do this event once a year.
Yeah, and how old? I remember last year. I mean, what's the youngest kids you take? You have families there.
It's all family-oriented training. So it's moms and dads with their kids, it's grandparents with their grandkids, nieces and nephews, aunts and uncles. But the lowest age limit is 11 years of age. And last year we had an 11-year-old girl and a 12-year-old boy were the youngest in our charity event. Neither one of them had ever touched a gun before. But their parents had training, and so they met the age limit, and they're like, okay, I want my kids to be able to defend themselves, help the family defend themselves, and get some quality safety training, and so they brought them out to the charity event. The oldest participants we had last year, we had a 72 and 73-year-old grandmother. One of them was recently widowed, and she said, Lance, I'm alone now. I want to be able to defend myself because I'm alone, and so I want to get some training, and then I want to buy a firearm so I can have it in the house and defend myself. So she came out to the charity event, got some wonderful training. When she was done with the course, she had a good idea what she was looking for in a handgun, and she went to one of the local gun shops here in San Diego and bought her first gun.
Oh, see, it's terrific. And if people are going up there for the first time, or if they're going up by themselves, do you have any way of kind of hooking them up with either a ride or a place to stay or anything like that, or how's that work for singles?
Yeah, absolutely. If they go to the website, charitycourse.gives, we've got all the information on there. There's an FAQ on there that's got a list of local hotels. All the hotels provide a discount for the participants. And if anybody, there's a little note out there on the website that if all the hotel rooms are booked up, send me a message. We've got some backup rooms that we always reserve. And if anybody wants to do any ride sharing or anything like that, then they're welcome to contact me as well. And we kind of pool everybody together that would like to do some ride sharing as well.
Yeah, that's terrific. And I know besides, of course, yourself and Tatiana, but Michael Schwartz is going to be there with his wife. Lance is going to be there. All kinds of people. So if you haven't gone before, or if you've been before, or you're thinking about going, you should go. And it's quite a social deal as well.
Last call, it's coming up. How many people you have? What are we looking at?
I don't know what the number is right now for enrollment. Everybody likes to enroll last minute, but
yeah, they do.
Right now we have about 240, 250 people enrolled.
Holy cow.
And
that's awesome.
Yeah, I think we're going to get close to 300 total enrollments by the time we close the deadline. But right now I think it's probably 240, 250.
So Lance, for people that have never been before, let's say that this is their first time, what is it? What is your recommendation as far as clothing?
511 is excellent gear, and we've got several stores right here in the county, and their clothing line is for the outdoor adventure, the shooting enthusiast, camping, hiking adventure. So 511, I would recommend.
Yeah, dress in layers,
but mainly full closed-toed shoes, long pants.
Yeah, it's same stuff that you would wear to your local range. In other words, you don't wear sandals and you open-toed shoes, and hopefully something that keeps brass from going down in your shirt. And everybody needs to wear a ball cap with a brim to protect their eyes from flying brass. But we actually provide free ball caps for all the participants, so they don't even need to bring a ball cap.
Oh, good.
Yeah, he's got a swag bag. A swag bag.
Swag bag.
Yeah, and we have our gun range, our
crying towels.
Yeah, our towels are going to be
We put
there.
our crying towels.
Yeah,
in
our
there?
crying towels are going to be there with a logo on them.
So if you can't hit the target, you can use the towel to cry.
Yeah, that's great, man. That's great.
Yeah, we're gonna have a lot of free swag and a
lot of free swag.
We make it a really amazing event.
And the raffle's so huge, no one's going to be crying because everyone's going to win something.
Yeah.
There's so many things. Yeah. So sign up now, ladies and gentlemen. Sign up now. Go to the website.
And when is the date of the event?
March 23rd, so it's coming up in about 4 weeks.
Okay, folks,
I
better
gotta
get
find
ready.
my gun.
Are you ready?
I know I got to find my stuff. It's spread all over the county because of my
your
move.
stuff is everywhere.
I don't know where it is.
I don't know where. Don't look at me. I just
It's okay.
moved it.
But you know what? If I can't find it, Lance Reader knows that I could just get something up there if I have to.
Oh, I'm sure Justin at Gun Range San Diego would give you a BB gun.
I'm sure.
That's way too much gun for him.
Is that way too much gun for him? Well, he hasn't had as much training as he needs on the
He
BB
needs
gun.
it, boy. I tell you.
All right. Well, hey, Lance, we really appreciate you supporting such a great cause, and I know you're going to have an absolutely wonderful time. And one of these times, maybe next one, I'll come out and I'll show all you guys up.
Yeah, I like it.
We'd love to have you.
All right. Sounds like you're out in the wind right now practicing.
Well, I'm actually out at the dog park, giving my German Shepherd named Bullet some much-needed exercise.
Good for
Yeah,
you.
well, let's see. Let him chase you around the yard. I'd love to see that. All right, buddy. Thanks again.
Thank you for having me on.
My pleasure.
Well, I tell you, this has been one of our better shows, I think, folks, because we got a lot of information out. We've addressed some of the false narratives that are out there, and that's one of the things we'll do at this show whenever we see somebody in the media or in politics saying the wrong thing. That's one of the reasons San Diego County Gun Owners is here. $10 a month. I know it sounds like I'm pitching and selling, but hey, it's very, very, very
It's
important.
activism. Michael Schwartz calls it activism. We need you.
Yeah, and we got the gun ball coming up.
Gun Prom.
Gun Prom. That's
April 28th. If you go to gunprom.com.
That's right.
Yep, Gun Sports Radio just bought a table.
Yeah, we have our table.
So
Come and say hi.
Lance isn't going. He's going to go eat pizza.
Yeah, I'll be in Italy.
Italy.
You're not going to be in town?
No, he's going to be eating
What?
pizza
no.
someplace.
Well, all
It's
right.
okay.
So
Table would be well represented.
we'll
though,
just
by,
bring a blow-up
by
to all
Dave
of
and his
you.
bow tie.
No, we're going to bring you. I'll be working. I haven't got time to be messing around. I'll be
Gotcha.
working.
Is Michelle coming?
If we can bring all the dogs.
Yeah, of course. Oh, wiener dogs run around with some Rotties.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Anyway,
Gun Prom goes dog friendly.
Yeah, it goes dog friendly.
But no
well, you know,
cats,
hey,
right?
how many gun owners are into dogs? Hello? I mean,
Isn't that true?
90% of them, if not all of them.
How many have wheels? Slime.
That's right. I'll have to get you some
You
slime.
have to give me some slime.
I got to get you some slime for your Jeep.
It's for your Jeep tires, and so if you get a poke
You
or
ever
a
drive
hole in
that
it,
thing
they don't
anymore?
go.
Oh, yeah, do
Anyway,
I?
we got to get them.
Oh,
as a
that's right. It's
sponsor.
getting lifted.
Yeah, it's lifted.
How's it look?
It looks great. I might have gone overboard.
How do you get
I
in?
tried to tell you.
I'm going to hang a cargo net so I can climb.
I
that's
tried to
the-
tell you.
Yeah.
But nope. You don't listen to the car guy. That's okay. You get in it, you won't be able to get out of it. All right, folks. Well, hey, again, you can always tell everybody you know about this show if you think it's a good show. We think it's a good show. You can also go to our email is info@gunsportsradio.com. You can visit our website, gunsportsradio.com as well. You can find us on Facebook, everywhere you want. If you got questions, go to San Diego County Gun Owners. Are you guys putting the shows up online yet?
Yep. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's got 'em up.
Well, there
every
you go.
week.
So if you missed a show and you want to catch it, that's where I recommend you
And
go.
congratulations to the Dillon family for
Yes.
Ethan. You know,
Ethan. Excellent
yeah,
job.
we're really excited.
I know. We want to thank Mrs. Dillon because she did all the work.
And she got the flu too. Remember that a while?
I know.
And she
Glad
survived that.
everything-
And she has Ethan.
I know. I'm so happy. For her.
Congratulations.
So maybe
to
John will
the
bring Ethan to the
Dillons.
show.
Yeah, he probably will.
That'll be great. We welcome him.
Yeah, he can come to the dinner. What the hey? We take kids.
Yeah, they always sponsor a table. They're
Whatever it
wonderful.
There you go. All right, folks, we're going to take a break. Hope you've enjoyed these 4 hours as much as I've enjoyed giving them to you. We'll talk to you down the road. See you at KUSI Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Gun Sports Radio is sponsored by Love Radio Network.
AM 1170.